Sometimes the loudest scream is silence. They never thought your silence would be this loud. They thought they could walk away, play the game, leave your messages on read, take you for granted, and you'd still be there. They believed, in their quiet arrogance, that you'd always come back like you always did. But this time, you didn't. And now, every moment of silence you give them is echoing back like thunder in an empty hallway. That's silence. It's not weakness, it's your transformation. So before we dive deep into this truth, do me one favor. Press that like button, hit subscribe, and join this community of real ones leveling up. We're here to grow, to break illusions, and to rise above the noise. If you've ever gone silent and felt powerful for the first time, this one's for you. Stay with me. Hey folks, imagine this. You're a lighthouse in the middle of a violent sea. Ships pass by, some stay for shelter, others just use your light and keep sailing. But one day, you turn the light off. You go quiet, and suddenly, they realize just how much they depended on the glow they never thanked. That's what your silence is. You were a guiding presence, and the moment you stopped shining, they felt it. People don't notice your value when you're always available. They feel it in your absence, not your presence. And here's the thing, my friends, they thought silence was the end of the conversation. But silence, it's just the beginning of your evolution. You see, most people expect noise when there's conflict. They expect arguments, text paragraphs, voice notes filled with explanations. But when you give them nothing, not even a sigh, you flip the script. You're not playing their game. You're not even on the same field anymore. You didn't go silent to be petty. You went silent because you've had enough. You've realized you don't need to chase clarity. You are the clarity. You don't need to beg for closure. You are the door, and you just closed it. Let's break a lie that's been fed to good men for years. If you care, you should fight for them. No, sir. If you care about yourself, you walk away when you're not respected. Fighting for someone who disrespects your worth is like watering dead soil. No matter how much you pour in, nothing will grow there. That's not loyalty. That's self-neglect. And your silence, that's you reclaiming your worth without a word. They didn't think you'd stop explaining yourself. They didn't think you'd stop showing up. But the silence you've chosen, it's not a pause. It's a statement. A statement that says, I am not here to be an option. That's why they regret losing you the moment you go silent like this. Because silence is when they finally hear everything they ignored before. You're not the same man anymore. You've changed. You're moving different. You're choosing peace over proving, stillness over chaos. And that shift, it shakes them. Trust me, they feel it. Every ignored call, every unanswered message, every day you don't reach out, it adds weight to their regret. That's what happens when a high-value man steps into his power and goes quiet. The whole world around him gets a little louder, with guilt, with questions, with what-ifs. So here's what I want you to do right now. Breathe in, stand tall, look in the mirror, and say this out loud. My silence is strength. Go to the comments and type it. My silence is strength. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you. And stay with me, because what's coming next? It'll shake the dust off your old identity and remind you of the power you've always had, but just forgot. This is your season. This is your shift. This is your silence. And it's speaking volumes. Number 1, silence is a declaration of power. Your silence holds more truth than their 1,000 excuses ever could. They didn't fear your words. They feared your silence. Because when a man who once explained himself, apologized too much, and gave too many chances suddenly goes quiet, it shifts the entire dynamic. That's when regret starts creeping in like smoke under a closed door. Quiet, unavoidable, consuming. See, folks, silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's the presence of power. And let me tell you this straight, when you stop talking, they start thinking. That silence is heavy, heavier than any confrontation, heavier than any goodbye. It's the weight of everything you tolerated, every time you stayed when you should have walked, every moment you chose peace over pride. And now you're choosing you, quietly, unapologetically. Imagine a dam that's been holding back a massive river for years. Every time it cracked, you patched it up. Every time it strained, you reinforced it. And the people downstream, they never noticed the pressure you endured. They just enjoyed the water. But one day, you stopped, you walked away, and the river, it didn't flood, it disappeared. Now they're standing in the dry riverbed, confused, looking around like, what happened? That, my friends, is your silence. It's not explosive, it's evaporating, and it makes them realize just how much of you they relied on, abused, and ignored. They'll ask themselves things they never thought they would. Why did he go quiet? Is he done with me? Did I go too far? Is he ever coming back? And in every question, there's one thing: regret. Because your silence has become the answer to everything they never appreciated. Now let's talk about the lie they believed, and maybe you believed too. That silence equals weakness, that not responding means you don't care, that being quiet makes you irrelevant. No, that's a myth told by people who depend on your reaction to validate their ego. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy, it's strength, it's self-mastery. It's a man who knows he doesn't have to yell to be heard. He doesn't have to beg to be respected. He doesn't have to explain himself to people who are committed to misunderstanding him. And yeah, it's hard at first. You'll be tempted to break the silence, to send that one last message, to get closure. But let me tell you this, silence is closure. Every moment you don't respond, you're saying, I matter more than this. Every time you hold back from reacting, you're showing the universe, I'm done performing for people who wouldn't clap for me anyway. That's the kind of strength they don't see coming. And that's exactly why it shakes them. You think it won't affect them, that they're not noticing. They notice, maybe not immediately, but eventually, when they reach for their phone out of habit and there's nothing from you, when they scroll through old threads hoping to feel something, when they hear a song that reminds them of your voice and silence answers instead, that's when it hits. That's when they realize your silence wasn't you disappearing, it was you evolving. But let's be honest, why is it so difficult to stay silent? Because deep down, we've been trained to equate love with effort. That if we just explain better, love harder, wait longer, things will change. But they won't. Not with someone who benefits from your over-explaining. Your silence isn't giving up on them, it's choosing not to abandon yourself anymore. And once you understand that, you rise above their confusion. You rise above the guilt they tried to place on you. You rise above the need for validation, because silence has taught you to sit with yourself. And in that stillness, you find your strength, you find your standards, you find your peace. So here's what I want you to say to yourself right now. My silence is my power. Say it, feel it, write it in the comments, not just for you, but for every man who's ever been told he had to fight, prove, or beg to be respected. Write it so loud they can hear it without a sound. My silence is my power. You're not running, you're not hiding, you're simply done shouting over chaos. And that decision, that's what makes you dangerous in the best way. Now stay with me, because up next, we're going even deeper into how your silence breaks the emotional cycle they were feeding on. If you thought this hit hard, what's coming will make you see just how much power you've been giving away and how to take it all back without saying a word. Number 2. Silence breaks the emotional cycle. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding the fire they thought would keep you burning forever. They were never afraid of your anger. In fact, they were counting on it. They relied on your reaction like a battery relies on power. Every argument, every emotional message, every late-night call where you explained yourself over and over, it was all part of the loop. And you were trapped inside it, spinning like a wheel, thinking that if you just said the right thing, did the right thing, they'd finally get it. They'd finally choose you, respect you, change for you. But here's the raw truth, my friends. They never intended to change. They just expected you to stay predictable. And then came the silence. When you stopped reacting, when you didn't take the bait, didn't reply to the guilt texts, didn't fall into the same old trap, it shocked them. Because silence doesn't just remove your voice, it removes their control. Your reaction used to give them validation, power, and relevance. Now they're standing in a boxing ring swinging at shadows, and that drives them insane. Imagine a puppeteer yanking the strings of a puppet for years. The puppet dances, cries, apologizes, just how they like it. But one day, the strings go slack. No movement, no response, just stillness. The puppet isn't broken, it's free, and the puppeteer, they're lost, confused, angry, because they weren't ready for a version of you that doesn't dance for them anymore. That's what your silence did. It shattered the illusion. It ended the performance. It broke the cycle. And now they're scrambling. They'll test the waters. A hey, a meme, a memory sent to stir emotion. But you don't bite. You don't bark. You don't bleed where they can see. That lack of reaction speaks louder than every tear you ever cried in front of them. It says, I'm not in your loop anymore. But let's pause for a second, because I know what some of you are thinking. What if I'm being too cold? What if I owe them a reply? What if they really miss me? And to that I say, what did your last 100 replies earn you? Did they respect you more? Did they change? Or did they just keep the cycle going? That's the trap, folks. That's how they keep you spinning. The emotional cycle is built on reaction, and as long as you feed it, they never have to face themselves. But when you go silent, they have no choice but to feel the absence. And for the first time, they're left alone with their own behavior. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? To be the one who steps back, to hold your tongue when every nerve in your body wants to scream. But let me remind you, silence isn't surrender. It's strategy. It's healing. It's setting the battlefield down and saying, I'm not fighting wars that leave me bleeding anymore. And this is where the growth begins. Because silence doesn't just change how they see you, it changes how you see yourself. You realize you don't have to explain your worth. You don't have to negotiate your value. You don't have to shrink so someone else can feel tall. You learn that peace is more powerful than any clapback, and that's when something dangerous happens. You evolve. They can't manipulate this version of you. They can't bait you, shame you, or guilt trip you into breaking your silence. You're no longer triggered. You're tuned in to yourself, to your purpose, to your power. That's what terrifies them, because they weren't addicted to your presence. They were addicted to your reaction. Now that it's gone, the high is gone too, and what's left is the emptiness they filled with your energy for so long. They'll try to restart the cycle. They'll say you've changed, that you're acting distant, that you don't care. But let's get this straight. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not heartless, you're healing. You're not bitter, you're better. And better men don't go back to emotional cages dressed up as love. So here's the truth. The emotional cycle ends when you stop turning the wheel. And yes, It'll hurt. There'll be days when you'll want to break the silence just to feel seen again. But those are the exact moments you hold the line, because silence is building something. It's rebuilding you, stronger, calmer, wiser. Write this down, say it out loud. My silence breaks the cycle. That's your affirmation for today. Go to the comments and type it out. My silence breaks the cycle. Not for them, for you, for the version of you that finally knows when enough is enough. And I want you to feel this. They will regret losing the version of you who used to react, because that version made it easy for them to avoid accountability. But the man you're becoming, he doesn't chase, he doesn't explain, he doesn't stay where he's undervalued. He goes silent, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Stay with me, because what's coming next will expose exactly why they panic the moment you stop speaking, and how silence doesn't just change how they feel, it rewires how they remember you. We're not done. We're just getting deeper. Number 3, they expect your return until you don't. They didn't fear losing you because they were sure you'd come back. The regret only starts when they realize you're not walking through that door anymore. They always assumed you'd return. That was the unspoken agreement they made in their mind. You see, they got used to your loyalty, like people get used to a sunrise. It shows up no matter how cloudy the night was. They believed no matter how cold they were, how distant, how careless, they could always count on your warmth the next day. It was never spoken, but it was assumed you'll always be there. That's what made them brave enough to disrespect you. But here's where the story changes. You didn't come back. And that's when the fear sets in. Not immediately, no. At first they wait. A few hours, then a day. Maybe you're just cooling off. Then it becomes 2 days, a week. No text, no call, no presence. Just silence. Now the seed of regret is planted, and it grows fast in the soil of uncertainty. They'll scroll through their phone expecting to see your name. They'll reread the last message you sent, looking for signs. Was he angry? Was he hurt? Did I push too far this time? They'll tell themselves it's fine, that you're probably just trying to teach a lesson. Because in their world, you not coming back isn't real. It's just a delay. But time keeps moving, and you don't. And then it hits them. He's really not coming back, is he? Let's talk about why they were so confident in your return to begin with. It's not because they loved you unconditionally. It's because they knew your patterns. They knew your empathy, your kindness, your hope that things could still work. You were the one who always tried to fix things. You forgave even when it hurt. You explained even when they ignored. You stayed even when they gave you every reason to go. And the truth is, you trained them to expect you, trained them to believe they could hurt you and still have access to you. That no matter what, you'd come running back with open arms. It wasn't love they trusted. It was your pattern of self-abandonment. But not this time. This time you did something different. You didn't just stop talking, you disappeared. Not in a petty way, not to play games, but because something in you finally snapped. Not in rage, but in realization. You realized that your worth doesn't require their recognition. You finally understood that a man who keeps showing up for someone who keeps letting him down isn't loyal, he's lost, and you found yourself. And now they're spiraling, they'll test the waters. A "Hey stranger" text, a meme, a song link. Anything that lets them feel like they still have a string tied to your heart. But this time, your silence speaks first. And that silence, that's the ghost of the man they used to know, the one who would have replied in seconds. That ghost haunts them now. Because every unanswered message, every ignored story view, every quiet day is proof that you've changed. and you're not coming back. And here's what they never prepared for: the version of you who leaves quietly and never looks back. Because they expected the drama, they expected the sad messages, the emotional pleas, the final closure call. But what they got instead? Peace. And that peace is deafening. That's when the real regret begins. Not when you walk away, but when you stay away. That's when they realize all the access they once had is gone. The comfort of your attention, gone. The safety of your love, gone. The certainty of your presence, gone. And in that empty space, they don't just miss you, they miss who they were when you loved them. Because let's be honest, your love made them feel more secure, more valued, more important than they ever admitted. Now, without it, they feel the void. But you know what the best part is? You didn't even leave to make them regret. You left to respect yourself. You left because you were done trying to prove you were enough. You stopped chasing someone who couldn't see your worth through the noise of their ego. And that choice, that's the power move. Let's break a common lie. If they don't chase you, they don't care. Wrong. Sometimes people care deeply, but their pride won't let them show it. And sometimes people care, but not enough to change. But none of that matters anymore, because the goal isn't to be chased, it's to be chosen. And if someone only realizes your value once you're gone, they didn't really see you in the first place. They saw what you gave them. And that is not love, that's convenience. So here's what I want you to say today. I don't return to places that broke me. That's your affirmation. Write it down in the comments. I don't return to places that broke me. Say it with pride. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that the man you're becoming doesn't need to be recycled back into someone else's cycle. Because here's the twist. They didn't expect you to stay gone. They didn't expect your silence to mean peace. But now that it does, they'll never forget it. Stay with me, because up next, we're going to talk about what happens when your silence doesn't just confuse them. It magnifies your value. What's coming will change the way they remember you forever. And more importantly, it'll change the way you remember yourself. Number 4, your silence amplifies your value. Your absence will teach them what your presence never could. They didn't see your worth while you were there. They couldn't, because familiarity dulls value. When something or someone is always around, always giving, always reaching out, always showing love, they stop noticing. They stop appreciating. They start believing it's normal, expected, replaceable. And that's where most people make the mistake. They think presence guarantees permanence. But when you went silent, that's when the illusion shattered. Because the moment you stopped showing up, your value started showing up in their mind, louder than ever before. Let me tell you something, my friends. Silence isn't empty. Silence is full of memories, full of flashbacks, full of all the things they didn't say, and all the things you won't say anymore. It's in the quiet that they start remembering who you really were. The way you listened when no one else did. The way you checked on them when they were distant. The way you stayed when they were pushing you away. All of that. The kindness, the loyalty, the support. It hits them after you're gone. And the reason is simple. People don't value consistency until it disappears. You were always there, and because of that, they thought you always would be. They didn't realize you were giving them rare energy, steady, patient, solid. You were the calm in their chaos, the grounding force in their storm. But now, you've become the silence after the storm, and that silence, it's powerful. Think about a favorite song playing in the background. You don't notice how much it set the mood until it stops. You don't notice the light in the room until someone turns it off. That's you. You were the warmth in their cold world. and now they're shivering in the silence they once took for granted. And it's not just the silence that stings, it's the contrast, because now they're hearing other voices, talking to other people, experiencing different energies. And guess what? Those people don't bring what you brought. That emotional presence, gone. That understanding, missing. That loyalty, absent. And slowly, they start to realize they didn't just lose a person. They lost a presence, a standard, a force. They'll meet new people who won't remember the little things, who won't text back with care, who won't notice the tone in their voice when they're pretending to be okay. And in those quiet gaps, they'll hear your echo. That's the curse of losing someone who was real. You can't unfeel it. And that's what your silence becomes. A reminder, a reflection, a revelation. But here's the beauty of it. You didn't go silent to be missed. You didn't pull back to play games. You pulled back to find yourself. You stopped talking not to get attention, but to reclaim your peace. And ironically, that's when they finally started paying attention, because nothing commands presence like absence. Let's break another lie we've all heard. If they didn't value you when you were around, they never will. Not true. They might not have seen it then, but they will feel it now. That's how silence works. It's not immediate. It's slow. It sinks in over time. Every day they don't hear from you, your value rises in their mind. You become the one who could have stayed, but didn't. And that decision haunts them far more than any argument ever could. And don't be surprised if they come back, not with an apology, but with confusion. They'll say things like, "Why'd you change? I didn't expect this from you. Why are you being so cold?" But here's what you say. Nothing. You don't owe them your words. Your silence already explained everything. Because they're not reaching out to heal what they broke. They're reaching out to soothe the discomfort of losing control. But you're past that now. You're not the same man who needed to be understood. You're the man who now understands himself. You've evolved into someone whose value no longer needs to be shouted. It's felt in your silence. It's seen in your absence. It's heard in what you no longer say. So here's what I want you to remember today. My silence raises my value. That's your affirmation. Go write it in the comments. My silence raises my value. Not because you're trying to be more valuable to them, but because you're finally realizing your value to yourself. And when you understand your worth, you don't fight to be seen. You walk away knowing you already shine. You are no longer available to people who need to lose you to appreciate you. You are no longer showing up where respect is optional. You are no longer breaking yourself to fix others. Your silence is the echo of your standards. It's the shield of your peace. It's the reflection of your growth. Stay with me, because what's coming next is going to reveal why silence not only raises your value, but builds your mystery. And mystery, that's what keeps them looking back, long after they thought they moved on. Number 5. Silence builds mystery, and mystery is magnetic. The less they know about you, the more they crave to understand you. Mystery isn't distance, it's dominance without a word. They were used to knowing everything about you, your thoughts, your feelings, your next move. You were an open book, pages wide, chapters clear, always ready to explain, justify, clarify. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they could read you any time they wanted, until you closed the book. And suddenly, that silence, it became the plot twist they never expected. See, folks, silence builds something louder than any words ever could. It builds mystery. And mystery is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. When people think they have full access to you, they stop valuing you. Predictability kills curiosity, but when you go silent, you become a question they can't answer, and questions keep people awake at night. Let me paint it for you. Imagine a fire burning bright in the night. It's warm, it's familiar, everyone gathers around it. But one night, that fire's gone. No smoke, no heat, no embers, just cold air. And now everyone's asking, what happened? That's what your silence feels like to them. You were the steady flame, now you're gone. And in your absence, their curiosity ignites. Curiosity turns to questions. Questions turn to obsession. That's the power of not being fully seen. They'll start checking your status, scrolling your old pictures, wondering what you're doing, who you're with, what you're thinking. Not because they care about your day, but because they've lost access to your energy. And energy like yours doesn't just disappear quietly. It lingers, it echoes. This is where it gets fun. Because now, they're inventing narratives in their mind. Is he seeing someone? Is he done with me? Why is he so calm? Why isn't he chasing me like before? Every unanswered question is a puzzle piece they can't place. And humans hate unsolved puzzles. That mystery eats at them. That curiosity, it grows with every hour you stay silent. Here's the truth. The moment you stop giving updates, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability creates emotional gravity. When they don't know what you're feeling or planning, they assume the worst or hope for the best. Either way, they're thinking about you. And thinking is the first step toward regret. Because in that mental space, they start remembering the things they once overlooked. But let's break the myth while we're at it. Being mysterious means playing games. No, my friends. Mystery isn't a game. It's a boundary. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. It's the transition from being available on demand to being available on purpose. You're not hiding. You're healing in private. You're not avoiding them. You're choosing yourself. And in that choice, you become unreachable. Not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. And that distance, that's where attraction is reborn. Let me hit you with this. They didn't really value your truth when you gave it freely. They listened, maybe, but they weren't present. Now they'd kill for a glimpse of your thoughts, a peek into your world, a single reply. That's what mystery does. It turns what was once ignored into something they crave. And it's not about manipulation, it's about energy discipline. You're protecting your peace, you're cultivating your own growth, you're becoming a man whose presence is not a favor, it's a privilege. And those who lost access, they start to remember how bright the sun was after they let it set. You see, the loudest presence in someone's life is often the one who no longer speaks. And the most unforgettable men? They're not the loudest. They're the ones whose silence forces others to reflect. They'll try to bait you, send a subtle message, a memory, a little breadcrumb to see if you'll chase. But here's the secret. Don't flinch. Don't move. Because every moment you stay in that mystery, your value rises in their mind. You go from someone they understood to someone they never really knew. And that mystery, it's magnetic. Because here's the truth. When they can't access your mind, they start romanticizing it. When they can't read your emotions, they start respecting them. When they can't predict your behavior, they start fearing your silence. And when you become that unpredictable presence, you become unforgettable. So I want you to say this with me. My silence builds my mystery. Type it in the comments. My silence builds my mystery. Say it for every time you overshared, for every time you explained your worth to someone who didn't deserve it, for every time they thought they knew the whole story, only to realize they were just reading the prologue. You're no longer a man who explains. You're a man who embodies. No more begging to be understood. Let them wonder. Let them question. Let them feel the void. That void is your value. And the silence you're walking in. It's not an empty space. It's the beginning of your legend. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you how your silence doesn't just create mystery, it forces reflection. And in that reflection, they don't just miss you, they face themselves. Number 6. Your silence forces them to reflect. Sometimes the silence you leave behind is louder than the love you gave. They never thought they'd have to sit with themselves. Not really. Not in the deep, echoing quiet of your absence. Because as long as you were talking, explaining, apologizing, forgiving, they never had to face their reflection. You were the distraction from their damage. Your constant presence gave them permission to avoid their own truth. But now, my friends, now the noise is gone, and all that's left is them, and your silence. And that silence, it's not quiet, it's unforgiving. See, when you go silent, you're not just removing yourself from the conversation, you're removing yourself from their narrative. You're stepping off the stage of their drama, putting down the script they wrote for you, and walking out of the scene entirely. And suddenly, without your voice filling the gaps, they start hearing everything they tried to drown out. Guilt, shame, regret, reality. These are the sounds that only silence reveals. They sit there scrolling through your old messages, replaying the way you used to care, reading between the lines of things they brushed off when you were still around. Suddenly those annoying texts of concern feel comforting. The voice notes they ignored feel like gold. They start asking questions they never dared to ask before. Why did I treat him like that? Why didn't I listen? Why didn't I appreciate him when he was here? And those questions, they aren't looking for answers. They're echoes of self-inflicted wounds. You were the mirror they refused to look into. You showed them their flaws, not by judging them, but by holding space, by caring, by loving them through their chaos. But now that mirror is gone, and they have to look inward. And for the first time, there's no buffer, no emotional punching bag, no you. You gave them a safe space, and they called it weakness. You gave them endless patience, and they called it obsession. You gave them consistency, and they called it boring. But now your silence is giving them something else, clarity, and clarity cuts deeper than confrontation. They're not used to being alone with their own actions. They're used to someone cleaning up the emotional mess they make. You used to be the janitor for their emotional damage, sweeping up the guilt, vacuuming the disrespect, polishing the excuses. But now, the mess is piling up, and you're not around to make it better. And don't be surprised, folks, if they don't admit it. Most never will. Reflection doesn't always look like apology. It often looks like overthinking. Quiet panic, sudden check-ins, passive-aggressive messages, all tiny cracks in their armor. That's your silence doing its job. It's not punishing them, it's presenting them with truth. Because here's the raw reality. The person who made them feel the safest is the one who had every reason to walk away, and you did. That realization doesn't just sting, it restructures their entire self-perception. If a man like you stopped talking, maybe they weren't as lovable as they thought. Maybe they weren't as right as they claimed. Maybe they were the problem, and that's terrifying. Silence strips away the lies they told themselves to sleep better at night. Lies like, he'll always be there. He's overreacting. He needs me more than I need him. But the silence, it proves otherwise. You don't need them. You never did. You chose them. And now you're choosing yourself. That's a truth they can't unfeel. Let me hit you with something real. Reflection is not easy. It's a dark hallway full of mirrors that don't flatter, and your absence forced them to walk through it alone. But that's what real growth looks like. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. And it only happens when someone like you stops rescuing them from their own consequences. But here's the beauty of all this. You're not silent out of spite. You're silent out of self-respect. You're no longer arguing with people committed to misunderstanding you. You're not trying to explain your heart to someone who only listened to respond. You're done giving CPR to dead conversations, and because of that, your silence has become sacred. You've transformed from the man who begged for peace to the man who became it. And now they're reflecting, questioning, spiraling, all within the silence you left behind. That's not cruelty. That's karma. That's clarity. That's you finally choosing yourself over chaos. So here's your reminder today. My silence awakens their reflection. Say it. Breathe it. Write it in the comments right now. My silence awakens their reflection. Because you're no longer part of their distractions. You're part of their awakening. You are no longer the man they can manipulate with tears or guilt. You're not the fixer. You're not the emotional support line. You're the standard they couldn't meet. And now they have to live with that reality. That's your legacy. Stay with me, because in the next part, we're diving into something even deeper. How silence isn't bitterness, it's mastery. And once you master it, you stop being a chapter in their story and become the one they never stop rereading. Number 7. Stoic silence is not bitterness, it's mastery. He who does not respond is not weak. He is simply above the need to explain himself to noise. They'll say you're being cold, that you changed, that you're heartless now. They'll throw it all at you, not because it's true, but because they no longer recognize the version of you who no longer plays the part they wrote for you. The truth? You're not bitter, you're just done. And they've never seen you like this. Calm, distant, silent, and absolutely unreachable. Stoic silence, my friends, is misunderstood by the world. They confuse your stillness for weakness. They think if you're not reacting, it means you don't care. But let me make one thing very clear. Your silence isn't emotional retreat, it's emotional command. You are no longer throwing your energy into bottomless wells. You are no longer spending your days trying to fix people who break themselves and then blame you for the cracks. You are no longer explaining your soul to people who only wanted your body, your time, or your validation. You've mastered something they don't understand, the power of non-response. This isn't about being cruel. This is about being clear. Clear about who you are. Clear about what you stand for, clear about what you will and will not tolerate. And in that clarity, there's a quiet power. You don't need to yell, you don't need to defend, you don't even need to prove your peace. It shows in your stillness, it radiates from your silence. They thought you'd fight for them, that you'd scream to be heard, that you'd beg to be seen, because that's what you used to do. You believed that loyalty meant suffering, that love meant tolerance, that being a good man meant staying in places that disrespected you, but not anymore. Now, your silence says everything. It says, I value my peace more than your approval. It says, I'm not here to be tolerated, I'm here to be respected. It says, if you couldn't hear me when I was soft, you'll feel me in my silence. And it hits them, harder than any words ever could. You've stepped into a space few people ever reach, the space where peace becomes your posture, not your prize. The space where you realize that walking away without drama is the most terrifying thing you can do to someone who expected chaos. You're not slamming doors anymore, you're just letting them close themselves and locking them behind you as you walk away without a sound. They can't handle this version of you, this version that doesn't need closure, doesn't chase, doesn't shrink to fit back into small spaces you outgrew. Because this version of you has standards, and those standards are enforced not with rage, but with silence. This is Stoicism in its rawest form, not the fake kind you see online, where people pretend to be unbothered while secretly breaking. No, this is earned composure. This is the result of tears cried alone, lessons learned the hard way, hearts broken and rebuilt stronger. This is the kind of calm that only comes after fire. You've walked through that fire, you've begged for clarity, you've apologized when you weren't wrong, you've tried to make them see your value when you were still figuring it out yourself. But now, you're not trying anymore. You've seen enough, and now you're silent. Not as a tactic, not as manipulation, but as liberation. You're free from the need to argue, free from the urge to be understood by those who never cared to listen, free from emotional roller coasters disguised as love. And that freedom, that's what makes them uncomfortable, because they're still trapped in the chaos that once consumed you, but you've outgrown it. They'll say you're heartless, but you're not. You're whole, and whole men don't beg for pieces of broken people. Whole men don't return to wreckage hoping to build a future. Whole men know their worth and move in silence when that worth isn't met. And listen, I know it's not easy. There are days the silence feels heavy, days when you miss what could have been, days when you want to break and reach out. But those are the exact moments you hold the line. Because silence isn't just what you're giving them, it's what you're giving yourself. Space to heal, space to evolve, space to become the man who doesn't settle for being someone's option. And when the world finally asks, what happened to him? The answer is simple. He stopped explaining and started ascending. So let this be the moment you stop waiting for them to understand. Let this be the day you stop chasing people who need to lose you to learn your worth. Let this be the chapter where you become the man who doesn't just walk away, but walks into purpose. Say this with me now. My silence is my mastery. Go to the comments and write it. Shout it from your soul. My silence is my mastery. Show yourself. Show them. Show the world. You don't need to make noise to shake the ground anymore. If this message hit something in you, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to keep evolving in silence, in power, in peace. And drop your affirmation in the comments, because silence isn't emptiness, it's becoming. And remember this, they regret losing you, not when you shout, but when you go silent like this. See you in the next one.